Very good morning to you, and it is a warm welcome to the Wednesday edition of Newsfeed AM. Well, it is budget day. The finance minister is going to deliver that all-important budget, so all eyes are going to be fixated on Parliament. In fact, that is where we are going to begin our show today. Let's take you straight to our top story now. And the Finance Minister, Enoch Godongwana, set to deliver the 2023 budget speech and he's going to set the tone for the year ahead. Now, the Minister has to satisfy varying needs, from calls for a basic income grant to how he will solve the energy crisis. Our business editor, Xolani Mbanjwa, is in Cape Town ahead of that budget speech, and he joins us live now. Xolani, good morning to you. So, a very, very important day for the country. I imagine unions are among those that are urging the finance minister to make sure that the budget cuts, all of that is now stopped, because they're clear that their members are losing not just jobs, but their daily income.
Good morning, Oli. Yes, indeed. This is going to be an important part of today's budget speech, because we do understand that unions have chosen today as the day that they will be submitting their strike notices to the government and the Minister of Finance, Enoch Godongwana. They strategically choose this day, of course, because if you remember, in the midterm budget last year, the Minister and the government unilaterally imposed a 3% wage increase. Of course, unions have been demanding a double-digit wage increase, and it seems like these issues have come to a head now, with the demands for a better pay, for higher pay, while there are calls for the minister as well to make sure that he puts a lid on the ever-growing wage bill. Just to get more, though, about what exactly is going to take place today from the union side as they will be submitting those strike notices, I am joined by Matthew Parks, who is the Cosatu Parliamentary Coordinator, to talk to us more about what is going to happen today in terms of that particular submission of those strike notices. Good morning, Matthew.
Hi. Good morning. Thanks for having us. Look, so this is part of the labour relations negotiation process. When unions feel aggrieved that the government or the employer is not responding to the issues, not negotiating or negotiating in good faith, then they have the right to issue a strike certificate. My unions have been getting mandates from members. They'll continue to do so over the next few weeks. But as part of a notice to the government, that if government doesn't go and engage with unions at the PSWC in good faith, doesn't come and resolve the issues of the 2022 wage agreement and the 2023 wage agreement, then it is likely to face a chance that public servants will go on strike, as per the Constitution on the labour rights. I think what we've seen over the past few years of COVID-19 is that it's critical to invest in public services, which includes the nurses and the doctors who keep us safe. It includes the police officers who get paid a pittance, yet we expect them to tackle well-resourced criminals. It includes teachers who are dealing with ever-rising classroom levels. Public servants, like all the workers, are drowning in debt, supporting those who have lost wages, have lost jobs. Yet they see politicians living a lavish lifestyle. And basically what government has done is to take the bill for corruption, state capture and mismanagement of the state and dump it upon our very public servants, our nurses and teachers, our cleaners, etc. The wage bill has not been out of control. It's been stable at 35% of the budget since 2008. It's at the normal level for any state. What's happened is that government has allowed huge amounts of money to be lost to corruption and expenditure, has allowed the economy to go into a recession, loss of jobs in companies, has allowed tax revenue to decline under the previous administration. It must deal with those fundamental crises if it wants to fix the state and to reduce the deficit and the debt levels. But outsourcing the bill to a nurse who gets paid 180,000 rand a year barely can afford to take care of her children. That's not a way to resolve it. It's going to affect the situation worse. We saw the South African Revenue Service, when you invest in the machinery, in terms of the capacity and hire new staff, it produces quality public services. That's what the state needs, that's what society needs, not to cut our nose to spite our face.
Matthew, before I let you go, besides the wage demands from the unions, from Cosatu, on the minister, what else would you want to see in this year's budget speech from Minister Godongwana?
Sure, there's a lot of things he wants to tackle, and he can't afford to ignore any of them. We hope to see a bold and progressive budget that's going to grow the economy, rebuild the state, reduce unemployment, fix the SOEs and so forth. We hope to see numbers which will be matching the commitments of the President in the State of the Nation address. So number one is ESCOM. Give ESCOM all the support it needs, from debt to corruption to wasteful expenditure to protection from criminality, so we can end load shedding. That's key to growing the economy. Similarly, we need to support transit and metro rail, which are key to our manufacturing, our agriculture, our mining jobs, which are huge parts of the economy. Equally, metro rail is key to transporting workers and commuters to their jobs in the cities. Those are key to growing the economy. We need to see other interventions to support other embattled SOEs, from the post office to DENEL to SAA, SABC, but also to many municipalities, especially in rural areas, which are very dysfunctional, struggling to pay municipal workers, struggling to provide basic services. We have to rebuild the state to provide the public services that society needs to grow the economy. We hope to see more support being given to the SARS, to do tax evasion, given to the police service, and we are glad that government is beginning to respond to our call to rebuild the police service. We've seen 10,000 new appointments last year, another 10,000 we hope will happen this year. Similar support needs to be given to the National Prosecuting Authority, to the courts, so we can deal with crime and corruption. We also need to grow the economy. The economy is not going to grow by some miracle. It needs the state to drive its growth. That's going to reduce unemployment. That's going to help companies to create jobs, to sell their goods. Those are then going to pay the taxes to help the state to balance the fiscal sheet. But doing shortcuts like Treasury has wanted to do over the past few years is just going to lead to a worsening situation.
Matthew Parks, thank you very much for your time this morning. As you heard, a litany of demands only on the minister's shoulders. He is likely meeting many ministers that we've seen arriving this morning. We've seen Minister Fikile Mbalula arriving here, Minister Barbara Creasy also arriving. The Deputy Minister of Finance, David Masondo, has also arrived. They usually meet in this chamber behind us before heading into the Parliamentary chamber, or this time City Hall, where he is going to deliver the budget speech. Of course, on account of that fire that we saw in the National Assembly that has actually made the budget speech and the State of the Nation address to be moved to down the street at City Hall. There are a raft of demands, and of course the minister is not expected to satisfy everyone today, but there is an expectation that there will be bold action from the minister. And as you've heard from Cosatu, there are wage demands that are quite serious, where the workers are saying they will down tools because they are no longer interested in negotiations anymore. Back to you, Oli.
Xolani Mbanjwa, thank you very much. That's our business editor there. It's becoming almost something that is said every other day. The union leaders, it's not often you hear them talking about politicians living lavish lifestyles while the workers have to pick up the slack owing to things such as state capture. Well, things are coming to a head. We shall see what